Karen, Abney.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to listen to all of us this evening. Adjust it. Better? A little better? Okay. So, my name is Karen Abney, 622 Woodland Circle here in Waterford, Fairview Estates. I have been a resident of Waterford for 29 years. I've lived in the subdivision for 27 years. When we bought in the subdivision, it was not a Belinsky subdivision. All of Fairview 1 around Fairview Circle, I believe 4 or 5 of those homes are Belinsky homes. The rest were lots, builders, anybody could purchase and build. We were the first house in phase 2 up on the hill. And ours, again, was not a Belinsky, it's kind of a mix. I want to start by saying this isn't meant to be against a company that does homes. That's never been the case. But for over 20 years, I have stood in front of a village board, not all of you, at least 12, maybe 15 times. I was the president of Fairview Association for over 5 years. I also served as secretary and minute keeper. Invested a lot in our home, and I'm frankly a little frustrated that we are here again. All that area that you see where the condos are, at one point was all commercial. So what we're asking, what we don't understand is why everything is constantly being groomed away from commercial. Single family is fine, condos are fine, but we're at a point where we have over 100 rentals right now. So if the multifamily's off, that's not a done deal. Like, everybody has to understand, if that sale doesn't go through, like, yes, Belinsky can come right back and ask the same thing. And they have tried to put multifamily in every single proposal that I am aware of for the past 20 years. And every time we show up as a community and we say no, we don't want that. So that's our first question is, why do we have to keep fighting this? Like, is it just because it's legalities they can keep asking? That's my first question.
He's the legal guy.
Yeah, so I'm going to call everybody's attention to the photograph that is hanging on the wall on the right-hand side. And it's the building that is located directly beside Dizzy's. It's one of the buildings that survived the fire that occurred here in Waterford in the early 1900s. So once upon a time, that was a hotel. And the economics of this community with the electric railing coming down here meant that a hotel could survive here. We had quite a few lodging properties. We had a theater. We had a number of other things. And the economy changed. And the owner of that property went, well, I guess, I can't rent this out as a hotel. I've got to do something else because I've made the investment in the property. And so right now that property is dispositioned as multifamily structure, where they converted an old hotel over to a multifamily property. So just having done economic development for the community for the last 8.5 years. There's sort of a, hey, here's the preferred things that residents frequently tell me this is the kind of stuff we would like to have. And then there's what I would describe as like bottom of the barrel, but if we got it, we'd maybe be lucky to get it. So top of the list when I got here 8.5 years ago was chain restaurants. I heard we want to do things like Starbucks or Panera Bread or Chick-fil-A, those types of things. We had Family Dollar and Dollar Tree stores. Take a look at that site and the site where the right to the north of Casey's. They did their pro forma on it. What they penciled out was we can't make a Family Dollar or a Dollar Tree work. And if you can't make a Family Dollar or Dollar Tree work with traffic flows in that location, like, it's really unlikely you're going to get other commercial development in that location. So
When's the last time a traffic flow study was done?
DOT does a continuous count one every 2 years, so it's updated on DOT's maps. The unfortunate part is East Troy and Mugwanago kind of ate everybody's lunch within Waterford. So they have an interstate, they have interstate interchanges, and so if you're a national brand, you're going to locate on both of those. And then those big companies look at something called store cannibalization. We've had conversations recently with Culver's. Culver's has looked at the area again, and what they come back and told us just a couple of weeks ago was, it will take too much traffic from our East Troy and Burlington locations if we locate a Culver's inside of Waterford. We reached out to some alternates, and they told us, you don't have the market dynamics to support the business here.
Is that, do we have that, any of the businesses that the village or that reached out to you, is that plugged somewhere? You can actually see?
I have a conversation with you about it. Oftentimes it's just a phone call on my personal cell.
So my question, and I get all this.
Sure.
I've been here a long time. I've lived here a long time. And I served in a role where I was at almost every meeting for many years. So I understand that part. What I don't understand is, it's now 2026. Things are not the same as they were in 1998. We don't want to go backwards. The past, as somebody said, is the past. But now, things definitely are changing. We're growing. The businesses out on 36, I think, was always scheduled to be more of the business alley. But the commercial property where we're at, I kind of did a quick comparison study. If you don't want to read it, I don't want to take the time. But it basically just says that we would do much better with commercial for tax base and less on, it won't help the schools, unfortunately, I get that as well, but it also won't tax out the fire, the other amenities that are struggling right now between the village and the town. So I am not for the single family. I think everybody here needs to understand both those parcels are still commercial. They're asking to turn it into residential. And that's what we have to, it's not a done deal. Just because it's turned into residential, I don't think these homes are approved yet, correct?
Correct.
So again, if it turns into residential, Belinsky owns it, can they come in and change the plan again like they did for the condos? Because those were also supposed to be single-family homes.
Bill?
I'd like to add on this one. These places like Panera and Starbucks, they're doing these real estate analysis studies. They're doing those. They aren't coming here and being told no when they come here. He's going out asking them, saying, we'll give you we'll help, we'll entice you with low costs for these properties, and they're still saying no. The problem is they're not coming here, even when trying to get them to come here. So you have all this commercial property sitting that nobody's buying to build on.
To do those properties, correct. But what,
On the red.
Yeah, that's free to build.
The village has the ability to put a TID in place where it so chooses, as long as it meets the 12% test. And to Sarah's point, we had a conversation with Syndics. It's been 5 or 6 years ago. We offered Syndics $1.5 million and a free piece of dirt, and they said, "Thanks, don't call us, we'll call you." Right.
and I understand that, but what about doing other smaller businesses within that? That's what was originally proposed. So obviously you're all familiar with the 98 proposal, the 2008 proposal, the 2018 proposal, and the 2022. So
I can tell you, I've been around a long time as a bill. We've seen all you people numerous times, every time the apartments come up. To answer your question, they have a right to petition.
correct.
And we have to listen to them, okay? So we can't just say, don't come back anymore. That's not legal. We can't do that.
And there are
And
legalities.
second of all, he'll sit there, I've heard from him like many times and from many studies that commercial, nobody wants to put any money in there. The gas station, well, how many times did that change hands before corporate bought it? If you can't get it, if a investor won't come in there, if they don't see money to be made and the traffic counts, they're not gonna invest money. It's plain and simple. And I'll be honest with you, be careful what you ask for. How would you guys like a Taco Bell there, something open to midnight with with all the driving on Hickory Hollow?
And that's why we have the village of trustees.
Again, they can do that now.
I understand that, but you still have to approve that,
No,
correct?
they don't. So that when it's zoned commercial, there is a broad list with very few exceptions. The only exception I can think of off the top of my head is sexually oriented businesses, right? Which effectively don't exist the way they used to anymore because of the internet.
Okay.
But Taco Bell, gas stations, quick serve restaurants, Family Dollars, by right, they can walk in and across the counter, here's the permit, right? As long as they meet setback requirements.
That's how the storage buildings got there. They didn't have to prove it. By right, they could put them in there.
Well, that was a fight.
We couldn't,
Yeah, well,
couldn't tell
by
them no.
Don's cutting to the chase on it, but there is a conditional use process for those, and state statute says you can't make up arbitrary conditions. Communities used to do things like will require you to put in solid gold doors, right? Okay, we can't do that arbitrary and capricious stuff, right?
We got very close. We made it look exactly like the Cotton Exchange in soft and blue.
And that's about as much as they can do.
That's as much as we have authority to do.
Okay.
We spent hours and hours and hours on landscape, requirements and lighting and.
Well, again, I mean, things have been proposed like a doctor's office, it doesn't have to be a business, a daycare. Other things that would serve the community better, bring in the tax base and not be additional homes at this time. Again, if we don't have a choice, which I hope we always have a choice, the homes would be the next best. But I don't trust that if this doesn't go through or if it's rezoned as residential, then what recourse do we have if, again, Linsky comes forward and says, well, okay, we've done all the studies and now we don't want to do the single-family homes, we want to do something else. And that's our concern.
Yeah, they own the property and they can come back and ask every time that they want to. Yeah, and the zoning for the R, the residential's R1, which is not your multifamily, so what would be approved if it were, would not be the multifamily use tonight. But it does have a higher density than the R2.
Well, they're still working on the condos for.
They've got to submit a precise implementation
Yeah.
plan to tell you what they're gonna do.
All right, we're
Thank you
gonna
for
move
your
on.
time.
Quinn Hansen?
Okay, Quinn Hansen, 639 Hickory Hollow Road. Let's just say this is a tough choice. I'm not against the single family on the 6 parcel lot, but it does come with a lot of choices. As we said, you're the bedroom community that Waterford was. We all talked about, well, our taxes are high, gotta bring in commercial. The more you invade that red that is now 86 condos is losing the commercial, that's the tax base. You know, that you put in 27 single family houses, again, you got the tough choice. I'm not necessarily against, but as people mentioned, that doesn't put drain on the municipal services, to service those. And so I'm coming, from a standpoint of you'd have one little, 3.6 acre parcel of commercial and everything is residential. And so there's got to be thought into that, I know people, as we talked about, some people don't want they don't want the commercial, they want the residential, vice versa. I'm just being honest, to there. It's a tough choice because you put these 20-some single family R1 that, again, most people behind me aren't, there. What commercial would come in, into that last 3.6?
Storage units.
Well,
That's what you're gonna get is storage units as a commercial development there.
and with all the condos, why wouldn't you put storage
Right.
units? Because everybody moves in a condo, needs, comes downsizing and needs, storage units. So that's,
Aquatic center.
yeah. So, my comment is, John, 2017, Park Villas, yours in front of this board. If Park Villas condos was approved, you would not come after any more residential. It's in the notes. September 20th, 2017, did you say that the rest of this would not be?
Are you quoting me?
I'm off the meeting minutes.
Guys, Quinn, I'm gonna call one out.
9 years ago.
And that's page 116 of the village's comp plan, and I'm gonna read the highlighted section out of it. So this is in the wake of that 2017. They actually pulled up all the paperwork, because I thought it might be fun to take a trip down memory lane for a minute. I got here 8.5 years ago, and this is what you guys were talking about. This is my last 6 weeks on the job, and we're still talking about it. Right? Nothing's changed. Bilinski came in with an original proposal for 43 single-family homes. And we heard from everybody at that time that, no, we absolutely want it to be commercial. That was the overwhelming sentiment from the community at that time. And the plan commission listened and the board listened, and we look at the traffic counts. Bilinski put up for sale for several months, and we finally relented, amended the comp plan, and went forward with single-family zoning there, which is why you see a shaded PCD, kind of that pink color. After it was rezoned, I'm so sorry, John, the market changed. I've got the original comps in the stack here. It's these, right? The original plan, I'm just gonna hold them up. was to do this, right? It was larger lots, single-family homes. This was what was presented. And the homes that were being proposed where those condos are was this, right? Or something like this. These are the spec homes. And then the market changed, right? The market just changed. And so they went with condos. We went back through this a second time. And when I was writing the comp plan during that time, kind of hearing from everybody, weighing really heavily some of your comments way back when, which is, okay, well, how long do you hold it as commercial and hold out the hope that it's going to redevelop? Because things that are in my head is you have a $350,000 fiscal deficit. Right now you're pulling out of your reserves in order to maintain service delivery. You have all sorts of demands in this community on municipal services, and you don't have a tax base to support it. So the hard conversations that are coming up are you going to go to referendum and raise taxes 8, 10, 12% in order to maintain service delivery? Are you going to go to referendum on all of your roads? That's an item that's coming up before the board over the next couple of months. I'm glad to see everybody here because it's an opportunity to be involved in local government. There are some hard decisions that are coming up, and what we've tried to work on the last 8.5 years is growth and development in order to defray those hard decisions. Unfortunately, we haven't grown enough despite everything we have done. So page 116 of the comp plan says the village should consider converting that commercial acreage to residential use at a future date, and it's talking about that Fairview Estates acreage, in part because, again, how long do you hold out?
And again, hard choice. That's why I'm up here. This is a hard choice. For the village, for planning commission, that keep taking away the commercial, keep taking away the commercial, keep taking the commercial. The problem is, it said this is a bedroom community. Everybody leaves, everybody comes. Well, you're adding more bedrooms. You're not adding any more commercial, and that you're trying to give people a reason to stay in Waterford. I think the last Don, I will say, you and Zeke, the last 7.5 years with some of the development that didn't happen in the prior 20 plus years I lived here, I appreciate it. Like you said, trying to give people a reason to stay in Waterford.
Trust me, we tried our butt off to get commercial. But again, the more you keep taking the residential, it makes it more of a bedroom community and less. Yes, and I understand you're holding out hope. Because no commercial, I get it. A vacant lot of commercial of nothing versus having 20-some single-family homes. Like I said, I see both sides of it. And I don't know if there's a good one or a bad one, because obviously we need more. Our taxes are high. We don't have the commercial base. We don't have the industrial base. We don't have the commercial base. Our taxes are high. We become a bedroom community. We're trying to get away from the bedroom community, lower the taxes. Everybody's taxes just went up hundreds of dollars, again this year. We're a bedroom community. Taxes are going to be high. What's going to get us? What's going to get us out of it? Commercial, industrial would help.
Yeah.
A freeway will get us out.
So, again, appreciate your time.
Thank you. I'm going to move on. Pat? Clifford or Clifford?